Playoffs begin. Now, playoffs are a lot more, I feel like, easier to bet on just because you know what you got to expect. Like, every team's going to be trying their hardest. What players are going to... Like, just less variables to consider rather than who's the better team.
Yeah.
Obviously, once you handicapping, there's some different things. But when it comes to win-loss, it's just which team do you think is better?
Yeah.
Who matches up better? Just simplifies it.
What, do you want to just head straight into our playoff predictions, I would say? What's this called? Bracket?
The bracket? Yeah, let's just go into the bracket and then we can just talk about the games as we go through and just...
Just give our answers on each?
Yeah, so let's just start with the first one, shall we? Broncos-Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, look.
Bills for me.
You can't not go Bills on this one. I mean,
Nah.
Bills are the better team. I think Broncos are just happy to be there.
We've witnessed firsthand, like, how on and off that offense can be from the Broncos.
Yep.
With Bo Nix and Peyton as well.
The question will be, can the Broncos move the ball? Like, can Broncos score? You know the Bills are going to score.
Can you match that?
I think the Bills match up quite well. I think the Broncos' strength in their defense is probably their secondary. They have really good corners.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills, they win by play action. Is Josh Allen going to run? Is going to pass? Yeah. And when it comes playoff time, Josh Allen can just take the shackles off and just run when he doesn't have to worry about hits or anything like that. He just goes for it. So I think he matches up really well against the Broncos. The question will be, can Bo Nix and Sean Payton not match, but can they move the ball and score touchdowns? Once they get to the red zone, can they turn that possession into a touchdown? Yeah. And then that starts to answer the question of, will it be a cover? I think it's 9.5 right now. Probably leaning towards -9 for Bills. Being a bigger game, I just think similar boat to the Ravens, where the better team here is just going to show out and everyone's going to be hoping for a close game, but it's just going to be over soon. But, if the Broncos can move the ball, it could be a lot closer than people think. But at the moment, I think Bills win and they win by more than 10.
It's going to be tough being a 7th seed going into Buffalo trying to get a win. So
at Buffalo home, it's going to stadium's going to be pumping. It's going to be just for a rookie QB, it's going to be as hard as it gets.
Yeah.
So I like Bills minus.
Yeah.
So next one, let's just do all the AFC first round. Yeah. Steelers, Ravens.
I went Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens to win.
Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. He's been a great inclusion for them on the run game, and Lamar's producing some of the best numbers that he's had compared to his MVP season. So they've caught some form. What have they won the last 3-4 games?
And on the other end, it's the complete opposite. Steelers have looked awful. Had their worst stretch of the year coming into the playoffs. Offense is looking atrocious. Pickens is playing... I mean, man, what a fall-off. Wilson's not playing great, but Pickens, the amount of drops he had on Sunday was just unbelievable. I mean, it was Saturday, or whatever day it was. Was just they don't look like a cohesive unit on offense, and that's been the case for a few weeks now. So typically, Steelers play the Ravens really well, right? It's always close. They have a great scheme against the Lamar, but this for me is just one team on hot form, as you said, and another team in their worst form of the year. So for me, this game screams a Ravens blowout where the Ravens will be able to score early and the Steelers are just not going to be able to move the ball. I mean, the only way the Steelers keep this close is if their defense has a day out against that Ravens offense. But I just think the Ravens are destined for bigger things this year. They're not a wild card team. Their challenge is the week after against Buffalo and then the week after that against the Chiefs. That's where their game is. They're going to come out confident this week. They're going to be thinking, no, we've got these guys. We're not worried about this. They just beat them a few weeks ago. I think Ravens come out confident. I want to take the Steelers plus just because historically, and the Tomlin spot, great matchup. I said they historically match up well against the Ravens, but for me, this is a Ravens team that is just destined to move on past this round.
Yeah, surely, right. Especially once you get into later, what that matchup will be if all goes well.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And then you have Chargers, Texans. What did you go?
I went the Chargers here.
I went Texans.
You went Texans?
Yep. I just think Texans, for me, a lot of people are not sold on them. I think they're one of the only... I think they're the only home underdog this week, which just shows the disrespect. Like we were talking about before, that every team in the AFC is trying to play to get the seeding to versus the Texans. Look, the Texans have not been great this year, but I don't think they're as bad as people are saying. I think the Chargers are a good team, but they have holes in their game. Their offense is hot and cold. Their defense is solid, but again, it was really good in the middle part of the season, if I remember correctly, but it's had some weeks previously when it has let some points in. I think the Texans being at home, I think they do have enough to win this week. I think whoever wins this game is going to lose next week. But I think I wanted an underdog pick. I didn't want to just pick all the favorites. For me, this is one of those spots where I think a lot of people will be on the Chargers. They had a good win last week. Texans, I said, a lot of people are out on them. They haven't had many backers. And I just think it's the underdog spot for me.
Yeah, I went Chargers. I mean, it doesn't... Well, when I was first looking at this, because obviously Stroud and his co basically got the rest last week. So they've got rest heading into playoff contention at home. The Chargers, they played their guys, didn't look crazy against a Raiders side that probably they should just put away early, but they couldn't. I sort of look at this matchup. Offensively, I like the Chargers better. Defensively, I like the Chargers better. Coach v. coach, I like the Chargers better. I feel like the Chargers are in a good spot where they've brought in Hardball, first year, get a round 1 win, most likely lose the second round. Because depending if all goes well, they come up against the first seed Chiefs. I kind of like Dobbins was out. Their offense didn't produce a lot of numbers, but ever since he came back, they've sort of been able to, put points on the board against teams. So, it's another favourite, but I'm just going to stick with the Chargers on this one.
I mean, definitely the Harbaugh is always scary to bet against. He just seems like a guy that's good in these big games. I like the Texans coach, though. I forgot his name. I really like him. I like the culture he produces, coming from that San Francisco defensive system. I think he's
DeMarco Ryans.
Yeah, DeMarco Ryans. I think he's a great coach. I think CJ is... I think he's built for these kind of spots. I think he'll have a good game, CJ. And I always remember what Herbert did against the Jags when he was up, or had that massive halftime lead and then collapsed in the second half of that playoff game in the wildcard round. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe last year or a year or two ago. So Herbert has shown that he's not really that good in big games. I mean, he's yet to win a playoff game. All this hype, you said he's a better QB, but really got nothing to show for it. So look, definitely have coach advantage, the Chargers. QB advantage. Stroud hasn't had a great year, but I think he's ready to have a good game. So
I didn't say better QB, I said better offense.
Okay, sorry. But yeah, I don't even know if it is, but we'll find out. I think this is going to be a close game. Like for me, I couldn't really land on either side comfortably. So I'm like, look, let me give it an underdog because I don't want to pick all faves.
No, that's fair.
I'm interested to see who your underdog's going to be. I have a feeling I know. All right. And then Green Bay Eagles. I mean, it's pretty simple.
I like Philly.
Have to.
Yeah. I mean, they've just looked like...
They can't lose this one, man. They get the Philly media.
You can't be one and done. You can't be one and done.
Think of the media.
I mean, they've really turned a lot of people's expectations around. I know before the season, people didn't like Philly at all.
Can we say that if they lose, their coach is gone?
Yes.
Guaranteed, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think
guaranteed.
By the time he's out the building, he's better be... Just go straight from the field to your office, because pack it up.
I mean, there's just been so much outside noise that's come with him, right, that season. Yep. Like, he's barked at fans. Yep. Just... a lot of the aneurysms and stuff that he says, it just rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think the fans like him. Yeah, but he keeps winning, so it's just like, what are you going to do?
Like, I've got this perception of him, but I know a lot of the content that I enjoy, like, Nick Wright, he has his comments about him. Like, so I know I've got a lot of comments from various media. Like, I know Bill Simmons on The Ringer, I listen to him a lot. He has the same sort of perception.
But I think even Philly fans have the same. Like, in Philly, the radios...
obviously that's what I hear. So I'll take what people say on their merit.
But even if you don't, I understand what you're saying. But the point is that there's so much momentum against him that if he loses this game, all that momentum is just going to be open like a dam, just flooding, and it's going to be even the Eagles front office is probably the best run front office in the league. But I don't think even them will be able to stop the tide and all the off-season, just the shit that would come their way if they kept Sirianni. It would depend how many other coaches there are out there. But yeah, look, they got to win this one. And I think back to the game, I think they probably will. I think Packers have some injury issues. Like Love's got some problems.
Watson's out. Love had some issues in that last game.
The problem is, though, apparently Hurts is still in the concussion protocol.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy. It's been like 2-3 weeks now. Now, of course, he's still going to play, but there's just a little concern. Maybe that's just precaution, or I don't know, maybe there's something extra going on there. He's not actually still getting symptoms, but just something little. Eagles just...
Do you reckon Kenny Pickett takes them to a win?
It would be
just in case?
Nick Foles situation. Look, Eagles are the better team. Yeah. Their defense has played great. They've been on a run. Obviously, their running game is excellent. They're going to have that home field. That home's going to be rocking. Yeah. The Packers are dangerous. Like, you saw what they did when they went into Dallas last year. Dallas with the hot team. Everyone expected Dallas to win, and then Green Bay surprised everybody and win that game. So they are capable. They're going to need all their players healthy. They're going to have an excellent offensive game, and they're going to have to be able to stop the run. If they can do those things, it's going to be game on. But you just have to think that Philly have too much to lose, been the better team, less injury problems, and for their own sake, they just have to win. For Hurts, for AJ Brown, for the Sirianni, for just everyone on that team, you just got to win this one. Yeah. And I think the line on this one's 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah, I like the Eagles minus 4.5.
I would lay the minus 4.5.
Yeah, I like the 4.5. And I also obviously I picked the Texans, so I like the Texans +2 in that. I love it if it goes to +3, which it might, because there might be a bit of money coming on the Chargers. So at +3, I love the Texans. +2. I mean, it depends. If you like the Chargers, you're going to be probably on the Chargers anyways.
Minus 2.5.
I know a lot of pros probably like the Chargers. I just think a lot of people in general are just off the Texans. So I think I'm definitely probably going to be in the minority on this one, but that's all right. And then we go to Washington at Tampa. Interesting one. Is this? I see that look on your face. I see where you're going with this one. So I've gone Tampa.
Give me the rookie upset.
Yep, you've gone Washington. What a year this would be to cap off for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, like they started off hot. They've gone through a bit of a lull period, both offensively and like defense has been sort of their bare of the bones really the whole year. I don't know, in this spot, like it's in Tampa. I hate going against Baker because he's been very, very good to me.
He seems to just win these big games, doesn't he?
Yeah, he seems to really win these big games.
And he's won playoff games before, Baker. He's won some big wildcard games.
Yeah, definitely. But I've gone Commanders.
It's funny because last week or a week or two ago, we were talking about Baker, how he's frisky and they're going to win a week one playoff game. And here you are, push comes to shove, and you've gone against it.
I've gone against it. I think this will just be a really tight game. It's going to just be who comes out with the better offense. I mean, Baker's got that resume already. It's going to be if Daniels can come out and, sort of not prove himself, but like it's still just his rookie year. But can he sort of, make maybe just that next tier, make a key pass, make a key run, make a key decision, and sort of just will a team to a win.
This game's going down to the wire.
I think it goes to the wire. Dan Quinn, he's defensive minded, so I expect he'll have his defense sort of ready and primed. Bucks didn't have a great performance against, a New Orleans Saints team last week. So they can be got in some stages. And so this is my my one upset. What's the line on this one?
3.5. I love the Washington plus 3.5 on this because I think this is going to go down to the wire. I think either QB is going to make the play to win this. Either going to drive down the field, get a field goal, drive down the field, get a touchdown. Could even go OT. So I think in that, I'm picking the Bucks. But apparently this opened at 2.5, which means money's been coming in on the Bucks. Yeah, so I think a lot of the money's coming in on Tampa, which is a little, I think maybe it's just a lot of people don't trust the QB in his first playoff start on the road, which I get. But Daniels has shown this year that seems like Stroud last year, where just those typical spots where you're like, I don't like a rookie in this spot. They just seem to be able to overcome. So I don't think he will be overawed. You maybe have a slow start, but I just see this being a bit of a shootout. I see both teams' offense being able to move the ball. And, I think it'll come down to 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and see which QB can have the ball last and make a play.
This is the late Sunday game. Yeah. Well, the late Monday game for us.
Well, it should be a great watch. Hopefully.
Yeah, so...
definitely a possibility for it to be like a low-scoring, ugly game because both offenses, like you said, the Bucs offense hasn't looked great. Rookie QB could be a little gun-shy. Like, this could actually be the complete opposite for what I just said.
Might step up.
Exactly. So both... I mean, I'm kind of... definition for hedge there. Low scoring game or high scoring game. It's going to be one of them. It's going to be one of them.
Different.
Take the over and the under. But no, it's going to... you could see both being a possibility. But I just think either way, whatever happens, I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams will sort of play up to each other here. I think it's going to be an excellent playoff game. And I think for both these teams, it's probably their Super Bowl in a way. Like, I don't think either of these teams could probably... Maybe the Washington could just go on a miracle run, type destiny type stuff where they win next week. But no, I think both teams are one and done.
Yeah.
And so if either team wins this, they'll feel like they've overachieved this year, which is credit to them. Should be a great watch.
Yeah.
And the final one, Vikings at Rams. I've gone Vikings.
I've got Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, that's another underdog. Well done.
Rams are they underdogs?
Yeah. Pretty. I'll double check again, but
there's no way.
Top of my head, I think a lot of people are just scared off them based on.
See, I feel like that's just a little bit disrespectful.
Nah, I'm wrong. 1.5. Maybe I don't know why I got that wrong. But yeah, so it's 1.5 to the Vikings.
Okay, so do you think the line flipped? Or no,
maybe I just got it wrong. Maybe I misremembered. For some reason in my head, I had to think that Rams are favourites. But yeah, look, I just think Vikings have just had one bag week last week. I think they're the better
just
team.
An outlier.
Rams have been very up and down. They could come out and just have that Bills game.
It's just
they could just have that Bills type game where their offense comes out and plays incredible. As you said, they're rested. But I think the Vikings are a better team than they were made to look last week. I think Detroit just blew them away with just passion, energy, that home field. I don't think there'll be as much of a home field advantage in this one. I think there'll be many Vikings fans in that stadium. I think Darnold, everyone in that team's got a lot to play for. I think they got good vibes. I think they like playing for each other. I think they'll be able to pick their boots up from that last loss and come out strong. As you said, McVay in the playoffs is always a dangerous guy to bet against, but going to back the Vikings here.
Yeah, I've gone Vikings. I think it was just like an outlier game. They couldn't get anything going on offense. Darnold did miss some key throws. They definitely should have had at least some points on the board, but they just couldn't convert, and I don't think that happens 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. All right. And we'll quickly run through the rest of our brackets. Obviously, we won't spend time previewing these games because they're all just hypothetical, but just for the sake of it. So in my AFC that means I have Texans at Chiefs, which for me is an obvious Chiefs.
Yeah.
And then the big one, which I'm sure every bracket will have, Ravens at Bills. I mean, this is sort of the linchpin of the bracket. What you go here will determine everything. And I have gone Ravens. I think Ravens are destined to win this one. I think the way the last year ended with the Chiefs, I just think they've got more... I just think they've got some destiny about them. I just think they have more weapons on offense compared to the Bills. I think Josh Allen will put up points, put up numbers, but I just don't think they have enough in the tank. So I won't get too much into it, but I just... Early lean is Ravens. That means I have Ravens at Chiefs in the conference final. Rematch of last year. Man, this would be what a game it's going to be if this is the case. I have Chiefs winning it, but man, with not much confidence because I said the Ravens... You know when a team loses a game and then they get that's the only game they're thinking of all year and you get your revenge? That can either go two ways, right? Where you get really tight or you just play the best game of your career. Yeah. And that could totally happen in this one with the Ravens. So either way, I'm going Chiefs because they have that winner's edge and they've done it.
They've had the wood over them.
They've had the wood, but man, that would be... What a game.
Yeah.
And then the NFC for me, Vikings at Lions would be I would have Lions winning that one.
Yep.
Tampa at Philly. I have Philly winning that one. And then I have Philly at Lions in the conference championship, and I have the Lions winning that. So my Super Bowl is Kansas v. Detroit, and my winner is Detroit. Detroit beat them. Stop the three-peat. Dan Campbell. I just think the Lions have a sense. I just think the Lions... Look, they had to win that time. They had to win last week.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that proved to me my early, my preconception about them, that Dan Campbell is built for this playoffs style of coaching, the NFL. He wouldn't be a good NBA coach, but he's a great NFL coach where it's all that one game. It's about getting up for that one game. The players buy in. He's got the right team. Yes, the defensive injuries hurt, but they're going to be rested, more rested than any other team with the Chiefs. They're going to hopefully get some players back. We saw that even just getting Anzalone back, the difference it made. I think defense is an attitude. They're going to be locked in. Goff's playing great. They're going to be indoors the entire time, in the right element. They're going to have that home fans going crazy. They're going to get to the Super Bowl, and I just think they will honestly blow the Chiefs away early. I think they'll come out and just play the perfect Super Bowl game, and I have the Lions beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Jeez, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so my bracket worked out where I've got the Chargers going into Kansas.
Yeah.
I choose Kansas.
Have to.
I've got Ravens going into Buffalo.
What'd you go?
I choose Buffalo.
Wow, opposite ends, eh?
I chose Buffalo. Both teams offensively are insane. I think it really comes down to Ravens defense and Ravens secondary.
Okay.
And I really think going into Buffalo, I feel like Josh Allen could probably have one of the games of the season.
He's going to need to.
Games of the season.
This will have to be that Allen game against Chiefs where they lost. Career. They lost with 16 seconds left, and Allen he's going to have that game again.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna have some of those demons in his head, and obviously there's a bigger matchup once they come through that. But I like Buffalo in that spot, sticking with the home field advantage. So then
how good's the AFC? Eh?
My conference championship is then Buffalo at Kansas.
What a game! Can Josh Allen finally do it?
Can he do it? He can't. I've got Kansas. Kansas move on to the Super Bowl. So NFC, the way my bracket worked out, so I had Commanders going into Lions. Lions win that one. And then I've got Vikings going into Philly. I've got Philly winning that one. So then it sets up a conference title between Philly and Lions.
Same.
Lions win that one.
Yep.
Super Bowl.
We have the same Super Bowl.
Kansas versus Lions. Give me the three-peat. Give me the three-peat.
I understand. Kansas are a hard team to bet against.
I get what you're saying about the Lions. Dan Quinn and his guys, they've been the best offensive team. But when you're talking about getting a team ready and experience the Super Bowl is Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Oh, they've done it.
They've been there, done that. They're looking to make history. They make history.
I just don't think Chiefs win this year. For me, I think it's just too easy. Chiefs. I just think I think most people's bracket will have Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think most people's brackets might even have them winning the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose that championship game. But the only thing is it's at Arrowhead, right? They are hard to beat at Arrowhead in that atmosphere. the only person to do it is Burrow, who beat them in the conference final, right?
Yeah.
And his career is still living off that win.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it's probably the hardest thing to do in football right now.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Ravens or the Bills, whoever win that game, will have a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, but they'll know that this is their Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So I just think, and I could, like, I Ravens or the Bills, I 100% see a scenario where they beat the Chiefs in that conference final. Like, I don't think it's a slam dunk that Chiefs even make it to the Super Bowl, but I just think for the sake of the bracket, I think I put the Chiefs in, and then even if the Ravens or the Bills make it to the Super Bowl, I still think they lose to the Lions.
I stick with Lions.
I think for me, I said their Super Bowl would be that conference championship, whereas the Lions will be Super Bowl.
I agree with that.
They'll be peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
But I mean, as I said, what an incredible playoffs we have. I'm sure there'll be, knowing how brackets work, there'll be a bloody Broncos will beat the Bills first up and everything will be gone. It's like, why do we even spend the time?
Steelers beat the Ravens.
Oh, good. I hope not. I hope the AFC does turn out like we said, where it's Chiefs, Ravens, Bills.
I want that divisional matchup, and then I want that conference championship matchup.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
I mean, the AFC is going to be excellent. The NFC as well.
NFC, I want Eagles and Lions.
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be
that will be a.
Again, though, I can definitely see a scenario where the Eagles just falter. Like the Bucks somehow beat them, right? Baker somehow puts up 400 yards.
Even how I've got them, like Vikings. If Commanders win, Vikings going into Philly, like that's possible for sure.
Even the Vikings getting revenge against Detroit. You know, Detroit could maybe have a letdown spot there. Look, I don't know. Because remember, if the Vikings go into Detroit, that would be Detroit's like first game since they just beat the Vikings at home.
Yeah.
And that's a spot where you could get a little overconfident, right? Where you like a little...
I was thinking about that next matchup with Lions-Vikings, and like I want to see Lions do well. Like I'm sort of like on their sort of bandwagon of a fan.
Yeah,
like
they're easy to root for.
They've got some great players like Gibbs and St. Brown, and like they've got some absolute stars. So I'm rooting for him, but I think about that next matchup and I'm like, can they win that series 3-0?
Can they repeat that?
Can they repeat that?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough performance to replicate. I mean, on one hand, you say, well, they've already done it, so just do it again. But on the other hand, it's like, well, the Vikings will be ready for that this time. You know, they're going to be ready for the onslaught. They're going to make the adjustments. And if they come off from beating the Rams away, you know, they're going to feel pretty good. So I don't think it'll be as easy as it was in the first week where the Lions just blow them away. So that's not a guarantee either. So look, this playoff's really wide open. Even in the wild card, there's a few games that could go either way. Like I could totally see Green Bay winning, could totally see Commanders winning, Rams, Vikings, either team, Texans, Chargers, either team. They're really only two games that you would assume are the Bills and Ravens doing it easy, right? Yeah. Every other game you could easily see an upset or something, a spanner being thrown in the works. So look, it's the playoffs are looking great. I mean, should be one for the ages really if everything works out.